The Five Nights at Freddy series is known for jump scares, some not so scary, some so scary, your brown pants will turn white from fear. That's what I mean. But which ones are the best and most unexpected to really give you a good scare? That's what we're exploring today. Let's do it. In at 10, VR Puppet. While you may not think that the jump scares are scary, what if they were looking right in your face? Look, we know that to keep the puppet happy, all we gotta do is crank the music back. We know that to keep the puppet happy, all we gotta do is crank the music box. But that's not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes you get animatronics in the vents and in the door, and then you can't open the cameras, otherwise you'll be attacked by the others. So you just need to sit there, and you know what? It's not any easier in VR. Plus, if you can tell, the puppet actually walks down the hallway before attacking you, and this is like the first time we actually see the puppet walk, and it's terrifying. Sure, we see it standing in the reflection of the fire at Fazbear's Fright, but we've never seen it walking, and now we have, and it's just god awful. The stuff of nightmares. The legs are so wobbly, and I mean, like, it makes sense since it's only a puppet, but oh my god, its legs are like this. I mean, like, yeah, the jump scare is expected and you can see it coming, but the walk adds so much creep factor to it that it's hard not to find it terrifying, especially when it's right in your face. In at 9, Withered Bonnie. Withered Bonnie is one creepy animatronic. Classic Bonnie, but without the face. It's by far one of the most disturbing sights in this game. Nobody expected that it would come after you, although we all thought that it was just there to add creep factor to FNAF 2, because it did. But when you do see it moving, you realize you're in for one hell of a night, since the lack of face doesn't even deter the other animatronics, even though we learned in the first game that apparently the naked endoskeleton is what causes them to go berserk. But apparently, not having a face does nothing, even though the damn thing is exposed. But either way, this jump scare is good because, at least at the beginning, nobody really expected Withered Bonnie to be a problem. And now look at it, one of the scariest animatronics in the games. In at 8, VR Phantoms. The Phantoms in FNAF 3 are some of the best parts of that game. While there may only be one character that actually can kill you, that being Springtrap, the Phantoms provide all the jump scares that we could want in this game. While they can be predicted, having them appear right in your face in VR is one of the most disturbing, game-disrupting things I have ever seen. And that's, you know what, that's what they're really meant to do. Slow you down, freak you out, leave you more vulnerable for William Afton. He's the one turning off the ventilation and the sun after all. The Phantoms are the spookiest part of FNAF 3. Considering how I don't really think that Springtrap is scary. There, I said it, okay? Come for me in the comments because apparently you never respect my opinion. Phantoms make the big spook for me, and when they're right up in your face, it's bad. Especially when they show up and vanish quickly in a haze of light, leaving you actually feeling dazed. But then you still need to be on alert because you need to defend yourself from the actual threat. It's an excellent game mechanic. In at 7, Death Coin Fredbear. In Ultimate Custom Night, you are able to get an item called the Death Coin. That allows you to use it to eliminate any animatronic from the game. This works with most animatronics. It removes them from play and you won't have to deal with them for the rest of that playthrough, or life, technically. But there is also, at least to my knowledge, one animatronic this coin does not work for: Golden Freddy. Now, I'm going to stand by the point that the best jump scares in the series come down to when you aren't expecting it. So, if we run out of power, that won't be nearly as bad as when you're just chilling, thinking everything is fine, and then boom. And when you establish a mechanic of a game, such as a coin that removes an animatronic from play, it's expected that when you use it, that's what happens. However, if used on Golden Freddy, the Golden Fredbear plush, also known as Psychic Friend Fredbear, will jump scare you immediately. This is scary because we expect Golden Freddy to be removed, but he's not, and we get jump scared when we think we're safe. It's rude. And at 6, Game Over Cupcake. So you lost, okay? You get spooked and then you're sitting at that computer in FNAF VR staring at Freddy in the closet, wondering if you should hit that shiny looking restart button, or give yourself some time to chill because you just lost and you got a spooktacular surprise. I don't know, let's take a second to decide this, shall we? Oh, here's a cupcake. You know what, the other times I've picked up this cupcake, it's just been a cute cupcake. It's a VR game, I want to interact with the environment, so let's pick it up and pretend that it's my friend. Oh wait, now it's jump scaring me too. Yeah, thanks Cupcake. We thought that we were gonna have a nice time pretending to be friends, but instead you decided to scare the living bejesus out of me just because you wanted to be funny. I literally just died and then got pummeled to death by a grotesque animatronic, and now you're taunting me while I'm in my own grave? Thanks. Thanks a lot, you. Halfway through into number 5, Gift Box Plushtrap. You've completed a game in the Curse of Dreadbear FNAF Help Wanted DLC, okay, right? You've spent the last 10 minutes being terrified out of your wits because you could have died. It's okay though, because it's all over and now you're safe. You see a gift box in front of you in this spooky damn barn, okay? And you've decided that, you know what? You've earned a little treat. So after throwing the darts at the clown posters, if they're there, and making sure that you hit all 3 if they are there, you crank that handle and wait for your sweet treat, but then Plushtrap decides that you should have died in that minigame, so instead he jump scares you and you get zip. This event is a number of things, okay? Creepy because of the setting, cruel because you're keeping a bunny in a sealed box. Peter's gonna hear about that one, Scott. Rude because now you don't get anything because you got him, and just freaking terrifying because you thought you were safe. You thought that after all that torture you were going to be okay, looking for Easter eggs and throwing darts, but no. You get trolled by Scott Cawthon once again, one of the biggest trolls on the internet, a troll master, leader of the game release troll. Like, oh, you had a theory about this? Let me release it early. Oh, you thought that you had to figure out? Let me release a DLC that screws you up. I swear, he has a vendetta against all of the FNAF fandom. In it for Nightmare. Nightmare is one of the 2 canon animatronics to crash your game after their jump scare. However, I don't technically think it's a crash because it's intentional. At least, now it is. I'm not sure about Golden Freddy from the first game. The black bear with a yellow hat and bow tie is one of the scariest animatronics in the entire series. He enjoys to torment his victims and will inform the player about such activities during Ultimate Custom Night. However, in FNAF 4, he will only appear in Night 7 and in 2020 mode from 4 and onward. When active, he is the only animatronic on your case, showing that he doesn't need an entourage to absolutely destroy you. Nightmare will appear everywhere, on the bed, in the closet, in both halls, but when compared to normal Nightmare Fredbear, he is much more aggressive. If you end up getting jump scared by Nightmare, the jump scare is a simple static image of Nightmare's teeth and glowing red eyes, playing the scare sound for around 5 seconds, but then the game will reboot. The fact that this is the only other canon character that does this is crazy, and it makes it worth a mention. I know that Nightmare does this, but that's because it copies Nightmare, because it was only like replacing it. Plus, in the context of FNAF 4, apparently Nightmare isn't canon, although they were added to later games. So, in at 3, Minigame Jumpscares. FNAF 2 introduced a new gameplay element that changed the way these games were looked at. The fact that there were the classic style 8-bit minigames about the lore of the series paved the way for both Scott Cawthon and online theorists to make a boatload of money from the franchise. The twist with these games though, however, is that while yes, they had creepy robotic voices spelling save them or other lines like that, we still thought the gameplay was relatively normal. While we did see kids get murdered, we also ended up freeing the souls of the dead later in the series. But they all started, or rather ended, with a jump scare that coincided with the minigame. Take Cake had the puppet because Charlotte got killed in the background by Afton, Foxy Go 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 had Foxy, Give Gifts Give Life had Golden Freddy since his dead corpse appeared just frames before his jump scare, etc. This is what was really the driving force behind the series going forward. Like, who was the purple guy? Who was the phone guy? Was it us? Who could have known that that question, along with all the other ones we posed, would have led up to 5 years later, even more so now, when we were talking about VR and AR games in the series, and now a whole, like, kinda open world one. So many damn games in a few years. How's the money, Scott? Like, cause like, well done. But ultimately, in at number 2, 1987 Golden Freddy. I feel absolutely horrible for the poor sucker who actually figured this one out. At the end of every FNAF game, there is a bonus night that gives you more lore clues and more scares, but after beating it, you unlock a 7th night where you can customize the animatronics and give them specific levels to see how hard you can make it. However, if you were doing this in Five Nights 1, you'd obviously be looking for more clues, trying to figure out the first game of the series, and yeah, so if you ended up trying to solve this by being sneaky and inputting the animatronic levels to be 1987, the year of the infamous bite of 87, you end up getting instantly jump scared by Golden Freddy, which while hilarious is still creepy and unexpected. I get that Scott wanted to shut rumors down and stuff, but like why couldn't it just be normal, right? Like, what if someone actually wanted to play with those levels for some reason or another because they actually just wanted to try it and then boom, they get spooked by Golden Freddy. It's kind of rude, but also very scary because we just kind of expected the game to load up like every other level setting. And finally, in at number 1, Elizabeth Afton. FNAF's sister location is one of the most messed up versions of SNL. The game was far different than any other FNAF game that came before it, and the inclusion of the cutscenes was only seen in the game before with FNAF 4. These cutscenes gave us more lore, like how Michael was a rotting corpse who ended up vomiting out Ennard but didn't die due to the remnant that Elizabeth Afton had grabbed by Baby and then injected him into his body, and that Elizabeth Afton was also grabbed by Baby on the opening day of Baby's Pizzeria, even after Afton warned her to stay away. To me, is considered a jump scare due to the scream that plays when she gets grabbed. But this was entirely unexpected. The cutscenes are supposed to be a salvation away from the scary elements of gameplay. Yet, getting a scream in my ear that isn't okay when everything else was supposed to be okay, this was like the most unexpected jump scare, so it had to be included, at least to me. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Showerman Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video that feels like way longer than 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh god, I must be allergic to crazy.